All right, buckle up, everyone, because today we're diving deep into a topic that might just flip your Instagram assumptions upside down. We're talking about making money on Instagram. But hold on, before you roll your eyes and think it's all about influencer fame, it's not. We're tackling the idea that you don't need a massive following to actually generate some serious income.
You're absolutely right. We often get caught up in the world of mega influencers, but the truth is there's a whole community of successful Instagrammers out there who are quietly building profitable businesses, and they don't have millions or even thousands of followers.
Exactly. And our guide through this fascinating world is going to be a guy named Victor, a social media consultant who really knows his stuff. I came across a transcript of one of his YouTube videos, and let me tell you, it was packed with some pretty eye-opening stuff.
Victor's been working with hundreds of clients, and what really stands out is how much he emphasizes value and problem solving as the foundation of a successful Instagram business. It's a breath of fresh air compared to the whole get famous quick mentality you usually see.
Totally. One thing that really jumped out at me was his statement that you should be thinking about selling from day one on Instagram. Day one, no matter how many followers you have. That really made me think, what's the psychology behind that?
It's all about shifting your mindset. When you approach Instagram with a business mindset, you're basically telling the world, hey, I'm here to provide value and solve problems. It takes the focus away from just gaining followers and puts it on building a brand that offers something tangible, something people actually need.
It's like setting up shop for a real business instead of hoping to strike gold with some viral post, right? Makes total sense. But okay, let's get down to the nitty-gritty here. What can you actually sell when you're just starting out, maybe with only a couple hundred followers?
That's where Victor gets really interesting, and it might surprise you. He suggests focusing on high-ticket products, even with a smaller following. Yeah, I know, sounds a little counterintuitive, but his reasoning is really solid.
Okay, you've definitely got my attention. Break this high-ticket strategy down for me like I'm 5 years old.
Okay, imagine you have a small group of really good friends who trust your recommendations, right? Now, instead of trying to sell each friend a little trinket, wouldn't it make more sense to offer one friend something super valuable, something that solves a big problem they've been having? You'd still be making a profit, but you'd also be going deeper, providing a more impactful service, and building a stronger relationship with that friend.
Quality over quantity, even in the early stages of your Instagram journey. I like it. But how do you figure out what high ticket even means on Instagram? What kind of numbers are we talking about?
Victor has a system for that. He breaks it down into 3 categories: low ticket, medium ticket, and high ticket. So think of a low ticket product as something under 50 euros. A medium ticket product falls between 50 and 500 euros, and then anything above 500 euros, that's high ticket territory.
Okay, those high ticket numbers definitely caught my eye. But I'm already hearing that skeptical voice in my head who's going to drop 500 euros or more on something from someone with a tiny following.
And that's where niche selection becomes super important. Victor points to 4 main niches that really lend themselves to these high ticket offerings: health, sex and relationships, money, and personal development. And the interesting thing is, products in the money niche, for example, they're often perceived as investments, which kind of justifies that higher price tag.
So you're telling me someone with, say, 500 followers could realistically sell a financial course for 1,000 euros. I gotta admit, I'm having a bit of trouble wrapping my head around that.
It's not as crazy as it sounds. Victor's got real-life examples to back up his claims, stories of clients who have seen incredible success with high-ticket products, even with small followings. He mentions one client, a relationship coach, who was pulling in around 4,000 euros a month, and she only had 500 followers. Her secret: personalized coaching packages, high-value limited spots.
Okay, now you've got me really intrigued. So it's not just about the number of followers, it's about the value you bring to the table and how you position yourself within your niche. But what about folks with larger followings, 10,000 or even 100,000 followers? Does this high-ticket strategy still apply?
It absolutely does. As your following grows, you can definitely start incorporating medium-ticket products, maybe even explore setting up some automated sales funnels. But Victor really emphasizes the importance of sticking with a manual sales approach, especially when it comes to those high-ticket items.
Hold on. What exactly does a manual sales approach look like in the world of Instagram? I need a visual here.
Think of it this way. It's like running a small boutique shop, not some massive department store. In a boutique, you have the time to get to know each customer, understand what they're looking for, and recommend the perfect item for them. It's not about making a quick buck. It's about building trust, fostering loyalty.
So you're not just some faceless Instagram account pushing products. You're a consultant, an advisor, someone who's genuinely invested in helping people. Especially when you're asking them to invest a significant amount of money, that personal touch makes all the difference.
You got it. And that actually leads us to another key part of Victor's method, focusing on solving one specific problem. He makes this analogy to Coca-Cola. They've built a global empire, and they've done it by consistently associating their brand with one product and one feeling: refreshment.
Love that analogy. It's about becoming synonymous with the solution, not trying to be everything to everyone. I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together. But can you give me a real-world example of this one problem philosophy in action, something our listeners can really connect with?
Victor tells this story about a lawyer he worked with who was struggling to attract clients. This lawyer, he was trying to offer every legal service you could think of, from family law to criminal defense to real estate, the whole shebang. But Victor explained that this jack-of-all-trades approach was actually hurting him.
How so? I would think offering more services would attract more clients, right? More options, more people you can help.
You'd think so, but think about it from the client's perspective. When you need a lawyer, you're looking for someone who specializes in your particular problem. You wouldn't go to a lawyer who also handles corporate mergers if you're getting a divorce.
Right. You're looking for an expert, not a generalist, someone who really knows their stuff when it comes to your specific issue.
Exactly. Victor told this lawyer to pick one area of law and really own it, become the go-to expert for that problem. And by narrowing his focus, the lawyer ended up attracting more of the right clients and built a way more successful practice.
Wow, that's a powerful example of how less can actually be more, how specialization can be the key to success. It's true for any field, really, not just law or Instagram marketing. We've covered a lot of ground already. Starting with a sales mindset, high-ticket products, niche selection, solving one problem. I'm honestly feeling like I need to rethink my entire Instagram approach.
And we're just getting started. Victor has so much more to share. Strategies for creating desire and demand, his 5 levels of awareness framework, his step-by-step approach to building an organic sales funnel. It's mind-blowing stuff.
Sounds like we're going to need a multi-part episode to unpack all of this. So to everyone out there who's ready to ditch the tired old Instagram strategies and discover the secrets to making real money, join us for part 2 of this deep dive, where we'll continue exploring Victor's brilliant insights and start crafting a plan to put his strategies into action. You don't want to miss it.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm still kind of reeling from all the insights we dug up in part 1 of this deep dive, looking at Victor's take on making money on Instagram. I mean, it's fascinating how much psychology goes into building a successful online business. It's not just about posting pretty pictures. It's about understanding, like, what makes people tick, what makes them actually open their wallets. You need to figure out how to create that pull factor, that thing that makes your offer irresistible. Yeah, and Victor seems to have cracked the code on that, especially with his over-demand principle. I mean, it's wild how strategically limiting availability can make your products or services seem even more desirable. You know, like, ooh, I can't have it. Now I really want it.
Exactly. It's like that whole velvet rope effect. Make something exclusive and suddenly everyone wants in. And it's not just theory. Victor's own company, Eris Media, they only take on 20 new clients a month. And he says they get flooded with inquiries, but they're picky, you know? They actually make like over 60 calls a day just to find the right clients to work with.
Talk about commitment to quality. And it really reinforces the idea that they're not just chasing numbers. They genuinely want to help the right people get real results. It's not about playing games with scarcity. It's about demonstrating that their time and expertise are valuable. You got to be worth the wait.
Makes you wonder if sometimes we're too busy trying to cast a wide net instead of focusing on those specific people we can truly help, right? It's like that saying, the riches are in the niches. The more targeted you are, the more valuable your knowledge becomes.
Definitely. And the more passionate you are about that niche, the more your content shines through. People can smell a phony a mile away, but when you're genuinely excited about what you're offering, it shows. It resonates.
Victor really emphasized that people are buying transformations, not products.
Yeah.
They're buying the solution to their problem, the desired outcome, the feeling they want. It's not just about the thing itself, it's about what it does for them.
Right, and that's why his 5 levels of awareness framework is so important. You've got to meet your audience where they're at. That means understanding their current level of awareness and tailoring your content to meet their needs and desires at each stage of the game.
Let's break those levels down again just to make sure everyone's on the same page. So level 0, that's unawareness. People at this level are blissfully ignorant of the problem that your product or service even solves. They don't know what they don't know.
Think of someone who's struggling with time management, right?
That
But they haven't even considered using a specific system to improve their productivity. They're not even aware that a solution could exist.
Right. And then there's level 1, problem awareness. They know something's off, something's not working, but they haven't quite figured out what it is or how to fix it.
They might be feeling overwhelmed, stressed, frustrated, but they haven't identified the root cause or explored potential solutions. They're stuck in the problem.
Level 2 is solution awareness. At this point, they've identified the problem and they're starting to realize, hey, maybe there's a way to address this. Maybe there's a way out.
They're actively seeking solutions, doing research, reading articles, watching videos, asking for advice. They're ready to learn.
And this is where you come in level 3, expert awareness. This is the moment they discover you, the person who can guide them toward a solution. You become the beacon in the fog.
They see your content, they read your testimonials, they hear you speak, and they're convinced you're the real deal, the expert who can help them get where they want to go.
And finally, level 4, product awareness. This is it. They're ready to buy. They've recognized their problem, explored solutions, found you, the expert, and they believe that your specific product or service is the key to their transformation. They're ready to take that leap.
And at this stage, your content should be geared towards making that purchase a no-brainer, addressing any last-minute concerns, and making the buying process as smooth as silk. You've got them hooked, now reel them in.
I remember Victor talking about using Reels to capture attention at those early levels when you're just trying to pique someone's interest, like you're not giving them the full meal, just a little taste to get them hungry.
Right. Reels are perfect for that. They're short, engaging, and super visual. Victor showed some examples from his clients, and they were brilliant. Quick tips, funny skits, thought-provoking questions, things that make you stop scrolling and pay attention.
Yeah.
Even just stunning visuals that hint at a problem or solution can be super effective.
And he stressed that those reels should be super concise and focus on the problem, not the solution, right? You're just planting a seed, not giving away the whole farm.
Exactly. You're just aiming to make them aware of a need they might have. And once you've got their attention, you can gradually introduce more in-depth content as they climb those levels of awareness.
So it's like a progression. You go from those short, attention-grabbing pieces to longer-form content, educational videos, blog posts, live streams, that kind of thing. That's where you can really unpack the problem and the solution in detail. You give them the meat and potatoes.
It's about delivering the right info at the right time. Think of it like a guided tour. You're leading them step by step toward that ultimate destination. Your product or service. You're the tour guide, and you're showing them all the cool sights along the way.
And don't forget the power of storytelling. Victor uses his own journey and his clients' successes to show how his methods work in real life. Remember that relationship coach he mentioned? The one making 4,000 euros a month with only 500 followers? Sharing her story, that makes everything so much more real and relatable than just throwing out facts and figures.
Stories are powerful, man. They help people connect on an emotional level. And when you're sharing stories of real people getting real results, it builds trust and credibility like nothing else. You're saying, look, this stuff works. I'm not just making it up.
One thing that stuck with me was Victor's emphasis on showing, not just telling. It's easy to say you can help people, but it's another thing to actually prove it with real-world examples, Back up your claims with those case studies and testimonials.
Yeah. Walk the walk. Don't just talk the talk. People are smart. They can spot a fake from a mile away.
Yeah.
They want to see that you embody the change you're selling.
He talked about the importance of congruence, living proof. If you're selling a fitness program, you better be in shape yourself. If you're selling a course on making money online, you better be making money online. You've got to practice what you preach.
You got to be the walking, talking testimonial. And it goes beyond just your own success. You got to shine a light on your clients' achievements too.
Exactly. And Victor's Instagram is like a masterclass in that. He's constantly showcasing his wins and his clients' wins. It's social proof, not bragging. It shows people, hey, this stuff really works.
It's just like saying, don't take my word for it. Look at what these people accomplished. That level of authenticity and transparency, that's gold.
Okay, so far we've tackled niche selection, different product types, the power of focusing on one problem, the psychology of desire and demand, the 5 levels of awareness, and content strategies for each level. That's a lot. And I think our listeners are starting to see just how much goes into creating a truly successful Instagram business.
It's a whole new way of thinking about Instagram. It combines psychology, strategy, creativity, and hustle. You're not just posting randomly and hoping for the best.
Definitely. And at the end of his video, Victor talks about 2 different paths to implementing his system. You can take the slow route, figuring it out on your own through trial and error, or you can take the fast route, learning from people who've already been there, done that, and got the t-shirt.
And that's what we're doing here in the deep dive, right? We're cutting through the noise and giving you a clear roadmap. No need to reinvent the wheel.
You said it. But we're not done yet. In part 3, we're shifting gears and focusing on action. We'll walk you through the process of applying Victor's insights to your own W at Instagram, no matter how many followers you have. We'll talk about potential pitfalls, share some awesome resources, and leave you feeling ready to level up your Instagram game. See you there.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time for the final part of our deep dive into Victor's Instagram strategy. I feel like we've covered so much ground already. You know, the psychology of selling, how to niche down. But now, let's get to the good stuff, the how-to. How can you take all of this amazing information and actually make it work for you on Instagram?
I think that's the question everyone's asking, right? How do I actually do this? But that's what's so great about Victor's framework. It's adaptable. Whether you're starting from scratch with just a handful of followers or you've already built up a decent audience, there are steps you can take today to start monetizing. No more waiting around.
I love that. Actionable steps, that's what we want. So let's say you're just starting out, square one. Where do you even begin? Well, just like Victor says, the first thing is choosing your niche. This is where you got to be super honest with yourself. You know, think about your passions, your skills, the problems you can actually solve for people. Remember what Victor said, the riches are in the niches.
That's so true. I've definitely fallen into the trap of trying to be everything to everyone, and it just ends up being a big mess. No one knows what you stand for. So, how do you recommend people narrow down their focus, find that sweet spot?
It starts with looking inward. Ask yourself some tough questions. What are you truly passionate about? What are you really good at? What problems have you overcome in your own life that you can help others with? The answers will guide you to the niche where you can really shine.
Great advice. So let's say you've got your niche nailed down. What's next? Dive headfirst into content creation.
Not so fast. Before you go crazy posting, you've got to think about your product or service. And this is where Victor might surprise you. He recommends starting with a high-ticket offering, even if your following is small.
I know we talked about this before, but it still seems kind of counterintuitive. Why not start small, get the ball rolling with a lower-priced product?
I get it. It seems easier that way. But Victor's thinking is this. When you have a smaller audience, you can focus on delivering amazing value to a smaller group of people who are really motivated to buy. You're not stretching yourself thin trying to sell a ton of cheap stuff. You're concentrating on creating a truly amazing experience for a select few.
Makes sense. It's about quality over quantity, building a strong foundation. But what if you don't have a physical product to sell? What are some examples of high-ticket things that people can create online?
That's the beauty of the internet. The possibilities are limitless. You could offer coaching, online courses, consulting packages, memberships, exclusive content, anything that packages your knowledge and experience into something valuable.
Wow, so many options. I'm seeing how someone could build a real business on Instagram, even with a smaller following. But let's talk about content. You can't just post anything and expect people to start throwing money at you, right?
You got it. That's where Victor's 5 levels of awareness come in. It's about understanding your audience's journey. You need to meet them where they're at and guide them step by step.
It's like a relationship, right? You don't ask someone to marry you on the first date. You build up to it. Remind us about how those levels work in terms of the content you create.
Okay, so at the lower levels of awareness, your content should really focus on grabbing attention and highlighting the problem. Think like quick reels, catchy visuals, questions that make people think. Maybe a little humor, too.
So like if you're a fitness coach, you wouldn't start by pushing your workout program right away, right?
Right.
You'd create a reel showing how hard it is to squeeze in exercise or how frustrating it is to not see results. Something people can relate to.
Exactly. You're just planting the seed, making them think, hey, that's me. As they move up the levels, that's when you start to introduce more educational content that explains the problem and the solution in more detail. You give them more information to chew on.
So maybe you create a carousel post with tips for time management or some stories sharing your own fitness journey and what worked for you.
Don't forget about stories. Sharing your own experiences, your clients' successes, makes everything feel more real and relatable. It's not just some theory, it's actually happening.
I love that. People connect with stories, so use them in your captions, your videos, your lives, everywhere. But Okay, you've created this amazing content that's moving people through the levels. How do you actually make the sale? How do you turn followers into buyers?
This is where Victor really emphasizes that manual sales approach, especially when you have a smaller following. Remember that boutique analogy. You're not just a faceless corporation. You're building relationships, understanding people's needs, offering guidance.
You become a trusted advisor, someone who genuinely cares.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to charge what you're worth. If you're confident in your expertise and you're providing real value, don't be afraid to price accordingly. You deserve to be compensated for your knowledge and your time.
So true. Value your work, but even with the perfect niche, the perfect product, and amazing content, there can still be some bumps in the road, right? Mistakes to avoid.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think one of the biggest ones is the comparison game. It's so easy to get caught up in what everyone else is doing, especially on Instagram. You scroll through and see all these accounts with millions of followers, and you start feeling like you're not good enough.
Ugh, the comparison trap is the worst. It can make you feel so discouraged. How do you recommend people stay focused and avoid that negativity?
It's all about remembering that everyone's journey is different. Focus on your goals, your progress, your definition of success. Celebrate your wins no matter how small they seem. Learn from your mistakes and keep moving forward. Don't get sidetracked by what other people are doing.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. Another mistake I've definitely made is trying to be everything to everyone. I think we talked about this before, but it's worth repeating. Pick a lane and stay in it. Niche down, specialize, become the go-to expert for one thing.
Yeah, it's like sending up a flare. When you're super specific, you attract the right people. You become a magnet for the people who need what you offer.
So powerful. And one last thing I think people often overlook is investing in themselves and their business. Whether it's taking courses, hiring a coach, or investing in tools and resources, knowledge is power.
You can't expect to grow without investing in yourself. And it's not just about money. It's about putting in the time and effort to learn, experiment, and get better at what you do. Always be growing.
I think that's the perfect takeaway. So here's the bottom line. You don't need a zillion followers to build a successful business on Instagram. You have the power to make this work for you. Use the strategies we've talked about and create a business you love, something that aligns with your values and makes a difference in the world.
It all comes down to this. What's the one problem you're passionate about solving? How can you position yourself as the expert? What steps can you take today to make it happen? The power is in your hands.
Take what you've learned, go out there, and make it happen. Build your dream.
And hey, we're here to support you every step of the way. Don't forget to check out the show notes for more resources, including Victor's video and other helpful tools.
And that's a wrap on this deep dive. We hope you found it valuable and inspiring. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.